Like family good, yeah.
Yeah.
Everything else, no. So
you can't just keep slapping a Band-Aid over that and you expect to win late in the year and you think you're gonna go to it at the end of the year. It's not gonna happen. I'm sorry. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, guys, I'm close to being done answering these questions.
Last year, what it was, thank you for the ring, but it's a new season.
The A.J. Brown saga might have a finish line. Adam Schefter said today that he's likely to be traded to the Patriots after June 1st. The Eagles began off-season workout today, and Brown is not expected to be there. Welcome into Birds Huddle, presented by Toyota. I'm Barrett Brooks. My guy, Ryan Fowler. What do you think of this, man, this latest report?
Yeah, I think A.J. Brown, June 2nd comes, I don't think he's going to be a Philadelphia Eagle. I think really the translation there, Barrett, is that A.J. Brown is gone. I really do. I think moving forward, Devonta Smith is going to be your clear wide receiver one, and that really receivers room is going to have some more changes here as we work into the draft.
I hate to say it, but I'm finally starting to get turned around. I go back and forth all the time with this. I mean, all the time, because he's a great player, and you don't want your great players to leave. Now, if this happens on June 1st, there's got to be some negotiating, but we'll get into that as we go on, you know.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think when you look even the New England Patriots as of right now, I mean, Drake May, young quarterback, right? They don't have a guy in the building. Stephon Diggs, he's gone, right?
Yeah,
Efton Chisholm, Pop Douglas, guys, they don't scare anybody. You get A.J. Brown in the building, but it also present the Eagles some leverage in some negotiations.
It definitely does that. And that brings us to our three-point stance presented by Toyota. Stance number one, the Eagles will get a first-round pick for A.J. Brown.
I absolutely think they will. Now, is that in 2027? I don't know. That's a draft right now where teams are looking at not relinquishing capital for that draft because it is going to be loaded. Potentially for 2028, maybe they throw in a little bit of a teaser as far as for 2027, maybe a mid-round pick. But I think as of right now, where they are, and again, Drake May, they got to build around him. An organization that wants to continue to elevate, I think they do get a first-rounder. I'm just not sure which year that might be in.
Well, man, at this point, I'm thinking this. When you go forward with this, I think we have a little bit of leverage simply because, number one, all the stuff that's going on in their house and it's kind of messed up right now. But you look at A.J. and the relationship that he has with the head coach, and he's saying he's called and talked to him. That's tampering, man. And, you know, I mean, that alone has some substance in it. Or, you know, you better kind of, you know, give us a little more leeway because of that. You know, give us more of a better pick because of that. I mean, more draft capital because of that alone.
I think Howie Roseman in the past has proven he'll have his leverage and say, look, you're not going to give me a one, I'll kick the tires elsewhere. But for Elliott Wolf, again, wants to build this young roster in New England and get some more pieces around Drake May. That's the focus. That's their Ferrari under center, if you will. I think Howie Roseman can do everything he can to get a one and even say, hey, Elliott Wolf, maybe give me a little more just because I want something.
Absolutely. What are you thinking? A second, third? You know, what do you think about a fourth?
I think if you can get a one and you potentially add maybe even a third or maybe even a fourth just to add it in, I think that's plenty of leverage where the Eagles could add some more picks, but more proverbial darts at the dartboard, whether in 2027 or in 2028.
Well, I mean, I'm thinking this also, you know, did he exhaust what he had here with the Eagles? You know, at this point, we don't know. Was that the best we saw of A.J. the past couple of years, or does he have any more going forward? That's still something, you know, we've been debating for a little while. And, you know, at this point, we don't know if he has a lot of gas left in the tank. You know, it might be a little lower than it was.
Yeah, well, he's 29, right? I mean, the guy that's, if you look over the past few years and you're looking at Howie Roseman, he could say to Elliott Wolf and say, look, he's 29 years old. His as far as the production's decreased a little bit over the last few years. He's battled some hamstring injuries. And by the way, potentially maybe the ego that A.J. Brown has, he wants to get 15 targets a game. And that's what you want as a wide receiver one. But those are things that maybe Howie Roseman could look at, whatever GM, Elliott Wolf or whoever, to say, look, maybe there's a couple things you just got to add in there because you just want some more leverage in this opportunity.
Absolutely. I'm thinking the same thing, you know, because at this point you don't know what he has. And, man, it looks like my guy's going to leave. I'm kind of sick about that. All right, stance number two. A first-round receiver is a possibility for the Eagles. There are 6 wideouts projected to go in the first round. Here's a list. What do you think of this list right now and potentially being an Eagle?
All those guys, I think the top 3 will be gone before you get to 23. For me, the guy really is Omar Cooper Jr. from Indiana. Now, there are guys in this class, Barrett, that are bigger, faster, stronger than Omar Cooper, but I'm not sure there's a guy in this class that does more well than Omar Cooper. You're seeing him here, the national championship game against the Miami Hurricanes, ability over the field, middle of the field, as far as a guy that can also play bigger than his 5'11 frame. He'll expand your ground game with designated touches. He'll show up in big-time moments, the toe tap against Penn State and Happy Valley.
Yeah.
Big-time moments. Again, there's faster players. There are faster players in this draft. There's more explosive. Casey Concepcion could be a threat there. So I think Omar Cooper would be a guy that complements Devonta Smith extremely well, and the other players are already on the depth chart for the Eagles on the outside.
Well, I'm looking at that. I understand that, but I think you would have to more so game plan him a little more than you would pick like a guy like Concepcion. Do you game plan him? Will he be that high on the totem pole for you to say, all right, I'm going to game plan this for you and put you out here on this situation? A lot of times, you used to go with your upper level guys. I don't know if they go with a rookie and do that.
I think, well, back to my point as far as being complementary. I think when you could have a Dontavian Wicks as a wide receiver 3, Omar Cooper as a legit wide receiver 2, sometimes there were points where it's a 1A and a 1B with A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith.
Right.
I think Devonta Smith can even take a level up in his game to where he has a Jamar Chase,
absolutely,
Justin Jefferson, Jackson Smith, and Jigba type of workload. In Green Bay with Sean Mannion, there were a lot of mouths to feed. In Philadelphia, A.J. Brown goes, there's one true mouth to feed on the outside, and that's number 6 in Devonta Smith. I think he can elevate his game, and Omar Brown will be a complementary piece to fully round out this offense as a 3-level threat.
Well, there's one guy I think that can go in and play and be a guy that you wouldn't really have to game plan because he's that good, and I think that's Jordan Tyson.
Ooh, yeah.
Of course I love Jordan Tyson because he's coached by my guy, Hines Ward, at Arizona State. But you look at him, he's 6'2", 203. Great. He can play inside and outside. He can play in the slot. He can go out to the wide side. He runs smooth routes. He knows how to manipulate defenders, with his body movement and his motion. He has speed variations. He's able to go up and get it. Now, we know, injury's been an issue, and I think that's why he might fall to the Eagles. Because if he was healthy, I guarantee he'd be a top 5, top 10 pick in this draft, But he has great body control, as you see right there. Soft hands to snatch the ball out the air. He shows the ability to go out and block also. If you look the year before, in 2024, he was, a great blocker out there on the edge, blocking for Scatterboo. So, at this point, I think he could be a real come in and be a day one player, going forward.
Oh, I fully agree. He is as fluid as they get in this class on the outside. And when you can find guys that really make it look easy like Jordan Tyson does, got to stay healthy. That's the biggest thing, of course. The biggest thing. But if he does, my goodness, you're talking about a legit wide receiver 1 at the NFL level, a guy that just recently worked out for teams just a few days ago.
Yeah, he did.
Looked explosive, looked fluid, went over the top, made everything look easy. That's what you want to see if you're an NFL GM. Will he be there at 23? I don't think so. They may have to make a move up, but he is absolutely, when healthy, the premier receiver in this class.
Yeah, you talk about that, that's what you're talking about. Stance number 3. The rest of the NFC East is going to have a whole lot more to offer as far as talent. The Cowboys have 2 first-round picks. The Commanders have the 7th pick. And now the Giants have pick 5th pick and the 10th pick in the first round after trading Dexter Lawrence. That's crazy, So how many impact players are you able to see in this division coming in this draft in the first round?
A lot of the blue chippers in this class. When you look at Jeremiah Love potentially, Sonny Styles from Ohio State, you look at Carnell Tate from Ohio State as well. Potentially Arvell Reese. Does he get past the Cardinals or in the Jets maybe at 2 and 3? We'll see what happens. Crazier things have happened on draft day. All of these players the Eagles may see twice a year for a long time. There's a lot of talent in this class. You're seeing Ruben Bain on your screen. Teams are getting a little cute in his evaluation right now because the arm length. 275, they can go through your chest.
It does not matter.
It does not matter. Thank you, Barry. I appreciate that. Look, a guy that can just get after it at 5 tech. He can reduce inside and win to guards. A lot of big-time players are going to come off the board in the top 10. A lot of them are going to end up in the NFC East.
Like that guy right there, Jeremiah Love. I think he's at a point in this where he may be the best weapon in the draft. And looking as he goes forward, man, does he get picked by the Giants? Do they mess around and pick him up with the Giants? Then you got to look at, the 7th pick. That's a lot of draft picks. You got the 7th pick, you've got the 5th pick, you got the 10th pick, all in the top 10 picks. It's going to be a lot of quality that they're going to get down there. So there's no chance that Howie Roseman stays at 23. He can't in order to get some value at the in this draft.
And then there's Dallas, right, at 12 and at 20, right? What are they going to do? Are they staying there? Do they move up? Is it Caleb Downs who they had in for a visit? Is it another middle backer like a Sonny Styles? Jerry Jones is always about splash.
No question.
Always. So maybe he moves up and tries to get a guy. Maybe David Bailey, Arvell Reese sneak down a little bit. We're going to see what happens with the Dallas Cowboys with it. But the bottom line is, away from Philadelphia at 23, a whole lot of capital and a whole lot of talent is going to enter the NFC East.
There it is, man. At the very least, there's going to be, 5-6 guys that are going to impact this division.
Big time.
All right, when we come back, could the top offensive lineman in the draft slip down into the Eagles' range for them to trade up? I'll break down Francis Mauigoa in a moment.
Birds Huddle, presented by Toyota, proud partner of the Philadelphia Eagles and official automotive partner of the NFL.
Time for our on-the-clock breakdown presented by Toyota. Today we're looking at one of my favorite offensive linemen in this draft, Miami offensive tackle Francis Mauigoa. 6'5", 329 pounds, first-team All-American. Ryan, what do you like about this guy?
Everything in his tape for Francis is really just extremely smooth. It's fluid. Everything just makes it look easy. Whether he's at tackle in the NFL or he's at guard, I think he's someone that will have above-average footwork at guard, average footwork at tackle. But it's the hand placement, it's leverage, it's the ability to get depth in your lower half at 330 pounds. It's pretty outstanding. A guy that came in as a 5-star recruit, started 3 years at Miami. They couldn't get the guy off the field. Ended his career at Miami with 42 consecutive starts. So that availability, the durability, it's all there in his game. Will he be there at 23, though, Barrett? I'm not sure.
Oh, I mean, if you look at him, it's the hips, the motion in the ocean, which makes him great. The torque that this young man has coming out the box, this is what makes him a good player. And when you watch him on film, this is what you see. Watch this. Watch how he torques this young man and just throws him like he's, get out of here. And I'm finished you. Bam. He finishes the play. That's the torque that comes out. Yeah. Watch this. He stays on track. He just goes out hitting people. But watch how he finishes the play. This makes me proud when he finishes the play. Here he is. They come off the ball. He stays with his track blocking. Oh, we go, look, just torque again. We run it again. Torque again. Knock him down. I mean, you want a guy that's going with the nasty disposition. But this time, watch this. He stays on track. As he stays on track, one guy disappears. He stays up, gets up to the second level. Bam, hits him. But, I'm going to go finish the play. I'm going to help my running back. Let's just press the pile. Press the pile. Just jump on his bandwagon and let's go.
We know a lot about that in Philadelphia, right?
Right.
Pushing the pile a little bit.
Exactly. Tush pushing. But watch, this is his, pass blocking. He grabs him. Once he snatches him, you're going nowhere. He tips and torques him. But, this is my favorite. Every offensive lineman should have their day. They should be able to go out and catch a pass. Watch this. He's a good enough athlete. Get out here. Catches with his hand, not with his body, catches with his hands, and goes in and scores. Yeah, big fella. Yeah, you see the speed. He's running away from guys. That's what you want. Francis is a baller. He is a bull in a China factory. He just wants to get his hands on them. Like I said, the torque that he generates, the strength that he has up top really makes him a good player, But, he's my top-rated guy in this draft. So, do the Eagles have an opportunity to get at him? He's not my number one. Do they have an opportunity?
Not at 23. I do think that they're going to have to go up. He is the premier lineman in the class. I absolutely agree with you there. And even the guys lower on that list, if CC Mauigoa drops a little bit in this class to 10, to 12, to 14, how does that change the board here? What happens with Venga Ioane? What happens with Spencer Fano?
Absolutely.
Then you're looking at Howie Roseman in the draft room saying, can I actually potentially get maybe one of the premier 3 linemen in this class and get rid of some capital maybe in the 2027, 2028 class to move and get my guy that has the guard tackle versatility? So CC Mauigoa, absolutely All-American, everything right away as a guard for you. And then in the future, when Lane Johnson departs, he can go play right tackle for you.
He can play anywhere he wants to play. That's
Correct.
How good he is. Just looking at it, Monroe Freeling. Yeah. If they were to get him at pick number 23, that's a huge. In fact, they should trade down to get him. Yeah. But will he be there? I dare say no, because it's going to go a run. I don't know what they're going to run with. They're going to run with receivers, so a bunch of receivers go. It might be a possibility. A bunch of edge rushers might go. That might be a possibility. And plus a couple of guards that might maneuver into the first round also. Penn State guy. They have some opportunities there. But I really do think he can play right guard.
Oh, he absolutely
can.
Or
left guard.
I think his future actually is at guard. I really do. Now, he could play tackle, but I think his potential all-pro type of spot could be inside at guard. Now, maybe that throws a little bit of a question as far as the long-term potential, what he could be in Philadelphia. But overall, his ability at guard as just a guy we talked about earlier with the leverage, with the depth. And just last week, we talked about Caleb Lomu, where we wanted to see him finish more.
Exactly.
There's no questions with CC Mauigoa.
No question. He's going to finish everything and get some more.
I'll let you know about it a little bit, too.
Right. Absolutely, All right, well, I should have been a guard. I'd have been way better tackle. But, that's here to there. We know Howie Roseman will be working the phones this weekend. But could it be a veteran edge rusher that he goes and gets? Davis and Garrett looks at some of the possibilities on the other side.